it's doing, with 50% disapproving. A clearer picture on when younger children could finally get a COVID vaccine. ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Pfizer revealing it will submit data from its trial for 5 to 11-year-olds to the FDA in early October, followed by trial data for children 6 months to 5 years old in the weeks after.
Means grade school kids could be approved for the shot, possibly by Halloween. New information about Facebook, Instagram, and the harm that the photo-sharing app could be doing to teenage girls.
The Wall Street Journal reports research at Facebook, Instagram's parent company, raised concern about how the app makes some teenagers feel about themselves and their appearance. According to a presentation from March 2020, 32% of teen girls said when they feel bad about their bodies, Instagram made them feel worse. Another slide saying teens blame Instagram for increases in the rate of anxiety and depression. The Wall Street Journal claims Facebook has publicly downplayed the research.
ABC's Megan Tavrizian. Today, elite gymnasts, including Simone Biles, will be on Capitol Hill testifying about Larry Nassar's abuse and how the FBI responded when it found out. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
SpaceX is still on track to launch its first flight with civilians on board this evening. The mission, 3 days in space at about 360 miles up. Here's ABC's Will Gans.
Today, Haley Arsenault makes history as the youngest American, the first with a prosthesis, and first pediatric cancer survivor in space.
Having cancer made me tough, and I think in a way it prepared me to go to space.
The 29-year-old, one of 4 soon-to-be astronauts on the Inspiration 4, the first all-civilian crewed mission to space.
And until now, astronauts have really had to be physically perfect. And so I'm so excited that this mission is opening space travel up to everyone.
The mission's goal, to raise awareness and funds for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
The window for the launch from Florida opens a little after 8 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. Police in South Carolina now say a prominent lawyer, Alex Murdaugh, was actually trying to arrange his own death when he was shot on a roadside earlier this month. Cops filed several charges against the alleged shooter, Curtis Smith, including assisted suicide and insurance fraud. No charges yet for Murdaugh, who allegedly was trying to make sure his son would get a $10 million insurance payout. Murdaugh suffered a graze wound to the head. U.S. Soccer Federation now says it's proposing the same contract for both the men's and women's senior national teams. This comes after years of protests over the pay that the women have been getting. This is ABC News.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the risk.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. It's a mild and muggy start to your morning. You're noticing those dew point temperatures on the higher side. For today, we'll see a partly cloudy sky. Because of the extra moisture, we'll see a stray shower popping up this afternoon, though most of you will stay dry. Our highs today are in the mid to upper 80s. Stray shower this evening and overnight tonight. Drier, though, for Thursday morning. Another rain chance in the forecast for Thursday afternoon. Very isolated, though, through the afternoon. Highs Thursday in the low to mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
The day is breaking here in the Carolinas, and here in Rutherfordton it's 63 degrees, warming up to about 84 for a daytime high. Maybe a few scatter showers coming our way by this afternoon or night of tomorrow, and it'll be getting out here over the weekend, though. Looks like first of next week's going to be another beautiful, beautiful week. Sunday, partly cloudy with highs around 85. So we got to endure a little rainfall coming up, but some pretty weather in the meantime. And again, right now, 63 degrees. Now I have these death announcements. James Lee Davis, age 82 of Forest City, died Monday, September 13 at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Burial will follow the funeral. The service will be held 2 o'clock Friday, September the 17th at Crestview Baptist Church. The burial will follow in Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Family will receive friends following the graveside service at the cemetery. The pageant at King Mortuary is in charge of the arrangements for James Lee Davis. Farron Murray, age 63 of Pinehurst Road, Ellenboro, died Monday, September the 13th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Those arrangements are still pending and will be announced by the pageant at King Mortuary for Farron Murray. David Ray Cummings, Sr., age 84, died Monday morning, September 13th. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for David Ray Cummings. Bonnie Keller Bahiler, age 77 of Forest City, passed away Monday, September 13th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The funeral service will be conducted at 11 o'clock Thursday, September 16th. Burial will follow in Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service, serving the family of Bonnie Keller Bahiler. Sandy Evans, age 63 of Rutherfordton, passed away Monday, September 13th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. A gathering of family and friends will be held at Harrelson Funeral Home Thursday, September 16th from 6 until 8 o'clock. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service entrusted with those arrangements for Sandy Evans. June Sims, age 67 of Forest City, died Monday, September 13th at Rutherford Regional. The funeral service will be held at 11 o'clock Saturday, September the 18th in the Pageant and King Chapel. Burial will follow in Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends from 5 until 7 Friday evening at Pageant and King. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for June Sims. Margaret Carolyn McKinney Dyer, Peggy Dyer, age 75, passed away Tuesday, September the 7th at Accordius Health, Rutherford. No services are scheduled at this time, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Peggy Dyer. Mark Von Curry, age 63 of Rutherfordton, passed away Monday, August 30th at Physical Rehab and Wellness Center of Spartanburg. There will be a gathering in memory of Mark at McMahon's Funeral Home from 1 until 3 Saturday, September the 18th. McMahon's Funeral Home Cremation Service in charge of those arrangements for Mark Von Curry. Harry Franklin Black, age 87, passed away Sunday, September the 12th. Funeral services will be held at 11 a.m. Friday, September the 17th at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends from 5 until 7 Thursday at Crow's Mortuary for Harry Franklin Black. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the Foothills, WCAB Rutherfordton, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB. Here's Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at NRIA.net.
On this Wednesday, I recently had to discuss the concept of white privilege with my children because they were asking about it. One of them is a freshman in college. The other is entering law school. So I told my kids the truth, as I always do, that skin color has held some African Americans back, and at times, skin color makes life harder for individuals. But they, my kids, are not at fault for that. The bigots are, and my children are not bigots. Then I said that the term white privilege is being used to divide Americans. Finally, I told them that they do not have white privilege per se, they have dad privilege. And that means that I, as a patriarch of the family, oversee a very methodical and responsible response to what happens to my children. And that is the key for success in this country. Parents drive the prosperity of their children. Now this. My trusted technology research executive, Jeff Brown, has a must-see video out right now on the Great Reset and how it will affect you. The way we spend, save, invest, borrow will be changed forever, according to Jeff. So pay attention because in his briefing, he'll show you exactly what's going on, the proof, and how you can best prepare. So don't wait. Please watch Jeff's important video report on the Great Reset now. Go to jeffbrowntech.com. jeffbrowntech.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning.
The most music's on us, WCAB.
Don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball as Freddie and the boys try to lock up their fourth straight division title.
This pitch swung on, lifted high and deep to left field. Looking up and gone off the facing of the Hank Aaron Terrace.
Tonight, it's another important National League battle from Truist Park in Atlanta as the Braves take on the Colorado Rockies. Braves radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Bill Christie, also known as Bill White, was a low IQ outlaw who ended up in prison where he met a Thomas Hodges, also known as Tom Bell. They decided they would start a gang when they got out of jail. The only problem was they had several years left on their prison terms. Actually, that wasn't a problem. They just escaped from jail. Although it was a small gang, it had the firepower of a battalion. Hodges, for instance, carried 6 revolvers, numerous knives, and wore an iron chest protector. In 1856, outside of Marysville in Northern California, the gang stopped a stagecoach that had $100,000 of gold bullion on it. It just so happened that the shotgun guard was a hard case by the name of Bill Dobson. He immediately opened fire with a shotgun, killing one of the robbers. The passengers then pulled their pistols and started firing, resulting in 2 more of the gang members being wounded. The gang hightailed it out of there. 1 woman passenger was killed and 2 men injured. A massive manhunt followed that resulted in Bill Christie being captured on September 11. Within 24 hours, he was in a cell. And with another 24 hours, Christie made a deal to tell the location of his partner in exchange for leniency. A month later, when the law caught up with Hodges, they found him hanging around a large sycamore tree. More precisely, he was hanging from the tree. It seems some vigilantes had caught up with him first. Incidentally, Bill Christie didn't get the leniency he had expected and ended up in prison. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now it's 7:16 here on this Wednesday morning. Hub Day. Let's get some information started, find out what's been going on, and we'll go first down to the Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Friend is on the phone right now to give us an update. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to have you on the radio. What's on the report today?
So for the past 24 hours, we've had 198 calls, 15 arrests, and currently housing 213 in the jail. As far as reports, we have Justin Silvers reporting damage and vandalism of property at 164 Brook Drive, 2 tires valued $240. We have a Billy Blanton reporting felony larceny of a motor vehicle, Nissan pickup truck. We have Stephanie Garrett reporting breaking and entering larceny felony, 2 drawer filing cabinets. And then for arrest, we have Timothy Burt, 221 South, arrested, failure to appear on felony, obtaining property by false pretenses, $20,000 secured bond. Brandon Connor, 261 Thompson Road, misdemeanor child abuse, resist public officer, $1,000 secured bond. Carly McNeely, 261 Thompson Road, resist public officer, misdemeanor child abuse, also $1,000 secured bond. Christopher Fortenberry, 221 South, misdemeanor larceny, $1,000 secured bond. Justin McClellan, 1074 Airport Road, simple possession of marijuana, driving while license revoked, exceeding posted speed, $500 secure bond. Christopher Butler, 191 Spence Street, failure to appear on misdemeanor, $10,000 secure bond. And that'll do it for this morning.
Deputy Friend, thank you so much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
Thanks, sir.
And we'll check in with 911 Communications Center right after this.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Well, the Braves had a loss last night. The Rockies beat them 5-4. It was a close game, but they beat them 5-4. They'll be at it again this evening, 7:15 first pitch, and we'll join the pregame right after News 13. And here's Amber now with the 911 report. Good morning, Amber. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What's on your report from the past 24 hours?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 407 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 65 calls for EMS and 25 for rescue. For law enforcement, there were 198 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 87 for Forest City, 10 for Lake Lure, and 51 for Rutherfordton, and 61 for Spindale. And then for fire calls, Forest City responded to a residential fire alarm. Hudlow responded to a vehicle fire. Hudlow also responded to a residential fire alarm. And Sandy Mush responded to a structure fire with Forest City SDO and Cliffside assisting. And that's all we have.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
And we'll go to SDO next.
Excuse me, this coffee looks small.
That's our new large. The new large size is our old tall size, and the new tall is the old small.
So this is your small?
Nope, that's a new large, like you ordered.
Right.
These days, everything seems smaller, so we're going bigger with the Bigger Spin from the North Carolina Education Lottery. New scratch-offs with a chance at a live spin on the Bigger Spin prize wheel for 2 million big ones. And that's huge. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.62. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
SDO Fire District is our next stop, and Ruby Taylor's there to give us the news. Hi, Ruby.
Hey.
What's on the report today?
Well, the fire department assisted Sandy Mush on a structure fire, and on my birthday calendar, I've got Mark Elliott, Carol Lattimore, and Jake Cochran having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the knees today and going to the legs tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
I appreciate it, Ruby. Have a great day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Starting Monday morning, we'll be adding a new reporter to our list of call-arounds. On Monday through Saturday morning, we'll be doing the Bostic Fire District report, get reporting from over there, and we'll tell you all about that closer in, but that'll start on Monday right here on the morning report. Now we're heading up toward Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and Gary Wilson is standing by to give us that report. Good morning, Gary. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing really good for a Wednesday.
Not too bad for hump day, huh?
That's right. That's right. We got a couple more this week and this month, and this month to be gone already.
3/4 of the year down the drain. 3 months to go. You got to start working on your Christmas list pretty soon now.
I'll tell you.
I think mine gets a little shorter every year, but
I believe you're right.
Everything pretty peaceful up here. Been that way most of the week. It's almost too quiet. It just starts getting that way, then I start getting worried then. But I'll take it while we got it, though. It's been a pretty quiet week, sitting on about 64 degrees this morning. No calls overnight. And pretty quiet in the whole area up here. I didn't hear but one call during the night in the whole county, so I guess that's a good thing. And everything else is good to go and ready for another warm day. It got hot yesterday afternoon up here.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
A little on the steamy side. But it won't be much longer. We'll be seeing them leaves change colors and a little frost on the pumpkin in the morning.
Bringing in a little firewood.
Yep. I need some this winter. You never know. We didn't have much of a winter last year as far as bad weather goes, but they get hit with a snow or two this year. You never can tell.
Be a good time of the year right now for folks to get their chimneys swept if they're going to be running a fireplace.
Yep. If you're going to be doing that, get them cleaned out. You spend that little bit of money on a chimney sweep and get it done right and make sure everything's good to go. It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And stuff, creosote build up in there, and next thing you know, you've got a problem. But other than that, I guess that's about it up here, Jim.
Gary, appreciate you. Thanks for being there, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks. That's Gary Wilson. Fairfield Mountains Fire District is 24 past 7, and we're at 63 degrees.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Hey, folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Just got another load of mulch in this week, so they got plenty of it right now, so head on over here. 26 after 7, now let's go up to the Hudlow Fire District. Mr. Bob Hodge, good morning.
Well, good hump day morning.
How you feeling today, Bob?
We're doing just fine up here this morning. Sun's coming up pretty this morning, and maybe we'll get a little shower of rain later on today sometime or another, and keep things cool off a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
And Jim, with the fire department, it's been pretty quiet. We answered one vehicle accident call yesterday afternoon at Cutlow and Smith Grove Road. Was some minor injuries in that wreck. And want to say happy birthday to Francis Sheehan this morning. And Jim, other than that, so far things are running along good up here this morning.
Been pretty quiet past few days, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, well, that's the way we like to see it, though. We
love it.
Don't want anything too bad happen there and everything. But that's about it, Jim. Ain't too much going on up here this morning, and you take care and be careful and have a good day over there.
Thanks, Bob. I hope you do, too, and we will check back in with you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District, where things have been nice and quiet for a few days. We hope it continues that way around the county. We'll check with the rest of the reporters here in just a few moments. There's a full moon coming, though, in a few days, so let's enjoy this quietness right now. Nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Good, solid company, a lot of experience, and you can depend on them to do a job right for you. That's IE Accounting and Tax Service, A-R-Y-E-E, there in Spindale. Now we're heading over toward the Cherry Mountain Fire District, and Sue Price is on the phone now to give us an update. How you doing this morning, Sue?
I'm doing good, Jim. Hope you are.
I am doing well, yes.
Well, good.
Hope you had a good night's sleep.
Yes, and it's a pretty morning out here this morning.
Good.
Guess we might be going to get some rain later on.
It's possible. Maybe not today, but maybe by tomorrow we should get some.
We've had some pretty days. Now, let's see. I have no calls from the fire department. On my church calendar, I got a birthday for Linda McFarland. And on my personal calendar for Michelle Ekstrom. And, of course, Michelle is on Fairview's calendar for today. Happy birthday, Michelle. And let's see, First Broad has a birthday for Allison Queen Bumgarner. And in my announcements, I think all I know is that the Duncans Creek Church is not going to have services Sunday. It's been called off, so everybody keep that in mind. And as far as I know, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Is that a long-term commitment, or is that a Sunday-by-Sunday call?
No, it's a Sunday-by-Sunday right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody's going to be well and get back together because I know folks miss going to church.
I know.
You have a great day, Sue, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket cost for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now we're going up to Shingle Hollow and talk with Tina White, see what's happening up there. See, she's got everything under control. Tina, good morning.
Good morning from Shingle Hollow. It's a special day today.
Is it special? Why?
Because it's Mr. Arnold Brown's birthday.
All right, Mr. Arnold Brown.
So if anybody knows Arnold Brown, tell him happy birthday. I know he's listening. And it is 64 degrees on the front porch. And the sky is pretty peach color this morning. And other birthdays for today on Piney Knob's birthday calendar, we have Lynette McCool. And on Pilgrim's Way Baptist Church calendar, it is Zach Owens' birthday. The fire departments, Shingle Hollow and Green Hill, both were all quiet. We're thankful for that. And an announcement is for Shingle Hollow Campground at the church. They're having a women's conference September 17th and 18th. And if you want to register for that, September 17th at 3 p.m., you can do that. It's $25. You can do that at the door. And I did that in 2018. My mom and I went to the women's conference there at Shingle Hollow, and it was a unique experience.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So if anybody interested in that, that'd be something for the women to do. Oh, and the $25 includes the meals, and if you want to spend the night there on the campground, it includes that as well.
It's a beautiful campground.
It is. It really is. So that's all I know that's going on up here.
All right. Well, you're doing a good job keeping it quiet. I appreciate that.
Oh, I wish I could take the credit for that. But I think the whole community just keep it quiet and calm and love and kindness.
There you go. That's the key. That's the key to it. We look forward tomorrow to hear you give another report. You have a great day.
You too, and everybody stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. And good morning to Brenda up in Union Mills. We thought you would not be available, but you're there. So good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I told Todd, I said, I ain't got nothing ready
But they called me late yesterday evening and asked if they could do my visit over the telephone today, and I told them yeah.
Oh, so they're doing it via telephone now.
Yeah, because of COVID, they said.
Yeah, well, I guess.
So it must be really bad, because even last year they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got 60 degrees on the front porch. It's cool, and I like it. And let me get back in here, because I had you out on the front porch. Didn't you enjoy that?
I really enjoyed that front porch, as cool as it is. I heard the birds chirping, and I saw Big Dog over there.
Yeah, and Easy out on the front porch barking at the deer.
I almost hit a deer coming to work this morning, not too far from my house.
Oh, my goodness, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, I saw it move, and it stopped. Believe it or not, the deer stopped and didn't cross the road, but it was right on the edge, and I slowed down.
Oh, yeah.
But it stopped and let me go by. So I appreciate you, dear.
Yeah, that's right. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I was sorry to hear about Bonnie Keller Baheeler. She's been my friend for, I can remember when I was little. We lived on the same street, but she lived up in Spindale, and I lived down on the Whiteside end of Spindale Street, and I'd go spend the night with her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We went to church at Spencer Baptist Church. We all had a good time. I'm sorry to hear that, so I want to send my Christian love and sympathy out to that family. And so we're going to have a new reporter starting when, Monday?
Starting Monday, yeah. We'll get the Bostic Power District reporter on. I'll introduce her maybe tomorrow or Friday, and we'll get her started on Monday. We're looking forward to having that community on as well.
Yeah. I don't have but one birthday today, and that's Frances Sheehan, so I hope Frances has a great old big day on her special day. That's another person I used to spend the night with. We went all 12 years of school together.
Oh, yeah? She's a nice lady.
Yeah, she is. She's very, very special. And I can remember years ago when we was in grammar school, me, her, and Betty Roper in the talent contest. And you know I don't sing. We sang side by side. I can remember that. We was in like the 4th or 5th grade, somewhere along that.
I'd love to have heard that.
We didn't win, but we had fun. And in ways of announcements, there'll be no bingo Saturday the 18th at Gilchrist School Community Center due to COVID. And other than that, that's all I've got.
Speaking of talent shows, I remember you reminded me that song Side by Side was very popular back in those days. I remember when I was in college out in Kentucky, we entered a talent contest with a couple of buddies of mine, and we introduced it as being a serious song as right before we started, but we sang, "Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight?"
Oh, you know, they used to have talent shows all the time, and it was another thing they used to have, a womanless wedding. They used to have them all the time at different places, but times has changed.
Well, they have, and so many people don't know if they're a man or a woman anymore, so it's just...
Well, you said that, I didn't. But I have to agree with you.
Yeah. Well, most folks know who they are and what they are, and they understand who created them, but there's some folks dizzy enough in the head, they say, well, you know, God made a mistake, so I think I'm supposed to be something else instead of what God made me. So it's sad that they have come to that point.
Yeah. But we hope everybody has a good day. I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing and see how things are in Ellenboro.
Will you enjoy the rest of the day?
Have a good one. Catch you later.
See you. That's the Kelly Report, Upstate Union Mills, 39 minutes after 7.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
All right, let's see if he's on the duty today. Luther Gilligan, are you on duty today?
I am on duty every day.
All right, good, good.
24 hours a day. Never sleep.
I bet you sleep early. I bet you go to sleep watching TV.
I don't sleep walking down the road. Talk on telephone. I have been known to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Been known to go sleep several times while driving.
Oh, my goodness.
Wake up, see the utility poles coming at me.
Oh, my.
They'll wake up in a hurry.
I'll guarantee you that'll shake you awake.
It does. Very quickly. But we're having a quiet day down here this morning. I had a quiet day yesterday. Wasn't a whole lot going on yesterday. Fire department didn't have anything yesterday. About 3 o'clock this morning, went out to assisted rescue EMS, lifting a patient. Other than that, they're quiet this morning. Not a whole lot going on. The biggest thing we got going on down here today is Bud Byers' birthday.
Bud Byers' birthday today?
Yep, wish him a happy birthday today.
Well, Bud, happy birthday, my friend. We need to learn the secret to your success of being so energetic and so active at your age. It's great to have a birthday, isn't it?
It's always great to have a birthday.
Buy him a cup of coffee, will you?
Yeah, I see him. I'll buy him a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I wish him a happy birthday, too. Nothing else going on down here. You have a great day, Ben. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you, Luther. Have a good one.
All right, take care now.
7:41, and leaves us time to have a birthday party. If you will call yours in to us, we'll give you a big shout out and have a party. Call your birthdays in at 287-3356. That's 287-3356, and we'd love to know who is getting 1 year older and still proud of it. Birthdays and anniversaries coming up.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. And Granny B's opening early now for you to get those donuts on the way to work. I believe 6:30 is what he told me. They're opening 6:30, so you can go by and get a bag of those, take to work with you, and make your day go a whole lot faster and make you be a little bit sweeter. Those delicious Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. And also keep in remember, if you're having pizza at night, call your pizza orders in. You can love that pizza from Granny B's all the time. Specialties all the time at Granny B's. They're in Spindale. If you need your clothes looking good, take them by Folks Cleaners. They'll fix them up, make you look fresh, and make you smell fresh because they do the clothes just right. Folks Cleaners have limited hours, so check those hours. They're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full hours, and Tuesday and Thursday, shorter hours. And so they can get you at least 1 day service back now. So check with them and drop them off. Get those shirts and uniforms and pants looking good. Folks Cleaners there at the Rockwood Plaza. Happy birthday. I want to wish Ryan Withrow of Ellenboro a happy birthday today. I want to wish him a happy birthday. And also, Luther just said my friend Bud Byers having a birthday, so we want to wish Bud a great old big happy. That's all that was called in this morning. Nobody else celebrating, I guess, on this 15th day of the month. But we'll get more of them tomorrow and let you know who's celebrating, so you can wish them a happy birthday. And if you know somebody that's having a birthday, take time to wish them a happy birthday. Makes them smile and feel good when you remember their birthdays. Coming up in just a few moments, Keys to Confident Living. We'll be talking about being stubborn. And know anybody that's stubborn? Maybe that's a good one to listen to. Coming up, Keys to Confident Living in just a few moments.
In 1986, a tragedy of gigantic proportions happened when a freighter and a passenger ship collided in the Black Sea just off the coast of Russia. Hurled into the icy waters, nearly 400 passengers died before they could be rescued. What makes this event even more tragic is that thick fog or radar malfunction or steering problems played no role in this deadly accident. According to news reports, both ships knew the other's course, could have turned away to avoid hitting one another, but both captains were too proud to yield first. By the time their prideful action was fully realized, it was too late. Most of us will never see our stubbornness cause such tragic consequences, but we may experience broken relationships, ruined marriages, job loss, damaged cars, and wounded friends. Wanting our own way over that of another may help us to win the battle, but still lose the war. Just think what a difference would have been made if just one of those captains had refused to let his ego get in the way. The Bible says pride comes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling 1-888-333-KEYS.
Don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball as Freddie and the boys try to lock up their fourth straight
WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. California Governor Gavin Newsom surviving the recall effort aimed at kicking him out of office. Republican Larry Elder, the leading GOP candidate, has conceded but says his campaign made a difference.
We are forcing them now to pay attention to the things they should have paid attention to 2 years ago.
ABC's Matt Gutman in California with more on what happened.
At some point over the summer, probably in August, Democrats started to pay attention to this. When the recall was first passed in May, it seemed like a joke or a sideshow. By July, it was not funny at all. It appeared that Gavin Newsom was very likely to lose this. He was neck and neck in polls, 50-50 with Larry Elder. And then everybody started to take it very, very seriously.
The remnants of Hurricane Nicholas stalling over Louisiana, where they still have not cleaned up from Ida. There are big piles of debris on the streets of New Orleans. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
In the last 2 years, so since Barry in 2019, 10 storms have impacted Louisiana alone. It is surreal, and I can't imagine the folks here. I've been speaking to neighbors. They are tired.
As the battle rages on over masks in schools, COVID cases among kids continue to rise.
This is Jim Ryan. Nearly 5.5 million children have tested positive for COVID-19, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And kids currently account for 29% of all cases reported nationwide. And while fatalities among young COVID patients are very rare, pediatrician Tara Vieira says,
later on in life, will they have problems with developmental delay, any hearing loss? It's hard to tell right now.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb says a COVID vaccine for children could be approved before Halloween.
A repeat message from the World Health Organization: rich countries should put booster shots on hold until people in poor countries are able to get their first dose. You're listening to ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
The number of Americans with health coverage jumping by millions in new numbers just released by the White House in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
During the 6-month period launched by President Biden, the White House says 2.8 million Americans got health care coverage under the Affordable Care Act. President Biden says he opened healthcare.gov for special enrollment to allow all Americans, particularly those who lost coverage during the pandemic, to find a quality, affordable health plan. Biden says those who purchased coverage through the ACA also saw premiums decrease by an average of $67 a month. Altogether, 12.2 million Americans are actively enrolled. Lionel Moyes, ABC News.
The Justice Department now asking a judge to stop Texas from enforcing its new law that bans almost all abortions past 6 weeks. ABC legal analyst Royal Oaks.
The DOJ's view is the Texas abortion law flies in the face of Roe versus Wade, and thus an injunction should issue to derail the law.
And another twist around a prominent South Carolina lawyer whose wife and son were killed months ago. Police now say that Alex Murdaugh was trying to arrange his own death when he was shot in the head earlier this month. Murdaugh suffered a graze wound. The alleged shooter, Curtis Smith, now under arrest. Murdaugh is not facing charges as of now, but officials say more are likely on the way. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello and happy Wednesday. Today we'll see a partly cloudy sky. It is going to be a muggier afternoon as tropical moisture continues to increase our dew point temperatures. And that extra moisture will pop up a stray shower storm this afternoon, though most of you will stay dry. Our highs today in the mid to upper 80s. Stray showers this evening and overnight tonight. Drier, though, for Thursday morning. A few more showers are in the forecast Thursday afternoon with highs in the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It is a beautiful day shaping up here in the foothills. Boy, we've had some nice days lately, haven't we? We've got some more coming. There may be some rain developing, though, later this week, maybe Thursday night. Friday, we may have about a 50% chance of some scattered showers. Saturday looks pretty good for us right now, and then Sunday looks pretty good for us. Sunday, partly cloudy with highs around 85, and Monday, more isolated showers coming, about 30% chance of that. So we've had some pretty good days, got some more coming, and it won't be long till fall of the year will be knocking on our door. Is that you, fall? Yeah, it's me. Well, come on in. We're ready for you, I believe. Got our rakes handy and their leaf twisters, and we'll be ready to go for fall. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, news from here and there coming up in just a moment. There is something you will want to be a part of. It's big news, and how proud we are to announce the new office grand opening of Odine Keever and Associates Real Estate Office. The new location is 901 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford, and the date is September 16th. Be a part of the excitement and join the team from 11 until 2. Ribbon cutting is at 11:30, followed by lunch. Odine and Barbara would especially like to encourage past, present, and future clients to come celebrate 32 years of business along with their new office grand opening. Again, that's Thursday, September the 16th from 11 until 2. And we hope you'll make your plans to be there for that big event. Now let's look at some stories from here and there. Daily Courier is reporting that the Florida City Commissioners approved a sign ordinance amendment at Monday's regularly scheduled board meeting. The current wall sign ordinance permits 1 square foot of signage per every foot of the building wall in length. An applicant submitted a sign plan for a building with a 30-foot wall plan and a 90-foot wall. The same applicant built a sign that measures 55 square feet for the front wall and 50 square feet for the side wall. The proposed changes would allow unused signage to be transferred from one wall to another. Well, after reviewing sign ordinances from other towns, staff recommended allowing borrowing of unused square footage that does not exceed 25%. Staff also recommended that the borrowed signage should not exceed the unused signage, and the property owner must sign off on the plans. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but if you're a business person wanting to start your business and the town has limited you to your signage, then that would be important to you. Former Deputy White House Press Secretary and Deputy Assistant to President Donald Trump, Hogan Gidley, will be the keynote speaker for the Rutherford County Lincoln-Reagan dinner this Friday, September the 17th. Hogan really is a staunch defender of America's freedom and is an integral part of the conservative movement as we continue to move forward, said Rutherford County GOP Chairman Bryson Smith. In his current role as the director of the Center for Election Integrity at the American First Policy Institute, he is constantly on the forefront of the battle to maintain the integrity of our elections. The Rutherford County Republican Party could not be more thrilled to have a national figure of this caliber and a close ally to President Donald Trump join us for such an incredible evening at the Lincoln's Day dinner being held at the Foundation on Friday evening. It is a sold-out event. Other stories around the area following the all the things that are going on, I guess maybe. Fall enrollment is down at Western Carolina University, where 11,877 students enrolled this fall. That's 366 fewer than the start of the academic year last year. University officials said the drop is consistent with many rural universities experiencing COVID-related decreases in new and continuing undergraduate students. Some made decisions to attend schools closer to home and to maybe step away and take a look at their future. The enrollment at Western Carolina is down. Miller said enrollment remains higher than all academic years prior to 2019-20. Western Carolina University leaders credit the steady enrollment trend to the state's ongoing NC Promise tuition program. So hopefully they'll get all that. We have a lot of good schools in North Carolina. Western Carolina is one of them. Following the end of federal COVID-19 pandemic jobless benefits, Let me ask you before I finish the story, how many of you think that it's time to stop paying healthy folks to stay home and not work when there's so many jobs available? If you're disabled, understood. But if you're able to go to work and you're not going to work and the government keeps sending you money to not go to work, how many of you think we should continue doing that? Well, apparently the North Carolina Democrats think they should do that. Following the end of the federal COVID-19 pandemic jobless benefits, North Carolina Democrats are renewing their push to increase the state's unemployment benefits. For much of the pandemic, many unemployed people were getting an extra $300 weekly in a federal pandemic unemployment benefits. Some call it excessive, while others call it a lifesaver. The federal supplement was significantly helping individuals stay afloat, said Vicki Meath, who is executive director of Just Economics, a local wage tracking group. That extra help is now gone, and what state benefits unemployed North Carolinians are left with just aren't enough, many Democrats are saying. You'd be hard-pressed to come up with enough for the rent, not to mention food and everything else that a family needs. Representative John Ager, Democrat, said, "We have one of the stingiest unemployment benefit programs in the country." Right now, North Carolina's unemployment benefits offer a maximum of up to $350 a week. Fair market rate for a one-bedroom apartment in Buncombe County is $1,099 a month. So even if you had no other expenses besides housing, unemployment benefits in North Carolina are not even covering your rent for a single person. Representative Susan Fisher, Democrat, said North Carolina's unemployment insurance program wasn't always so stingy, though. She said it became that way in 2013. Listen to this. They became stingy when the Republican control took over. Since then, North Carolina Democrats have pushed to raise state unemployment benefits, but they say it's more crucial than ever now with COVID-19 cases increasing. Governor Roy Cooper said, during the pandemic, we cut red tape and made temporary changes to unemployment insurance to make sure North Carolinians could get the support they needed and protect employers and employees. Our state has some of the stingiest unemployment benefits in the country, and I will continue to urge the legislature to improve North Carolina's benefits. That word stingy came up again, so they get talking points down the line, and so they're all saying the same thing. Well, the issue of unemployment benefit has become increasingly partisan during the COVID-19 pandemic, but Ager says he wishes it hadn't. Let's not politicize it. Let's just take care of our people. Some Republicans argue, though, that increasing the benefits would incentivize people to stay home at a time when so many employers are desperate for workers. Land of Sky Regional Council officials said there's about 23,000 job openings across the mountains right now. Unemployment programs are designed as a temporary safety net when someone cannot find a job after losing their job through no fault of their own. At this point, North Carolina employers from every sector are enhancing benefits to do that. Every segment just about in our society is looking for workers. And the Democrats are saying they want more money to be sent to folks who don't want to go to work. Now, they're not saying if you're physically unable to go to work. They're saying if you're unemployed, and we can all be unemployed if we walk away from our jobs and don't accept jobs that are being offered. Time and time and time and time again, there are lists of jobs from everywhere, from low-paying jobs to high-paying jobs, in the middle-of-the-road jobs, starting out jobs or working your way toward the top kind of jobs. There are jobs there, and if folks aren't willing to go get the job, then we shouldn't pay them to stay home and draw unemployment when they're able to go to work. Now, if you're not able to go to work, fine and dandy, we'll support you. But don't ask us to give you more money to stay home and be lazy. I mean, come on. America's not built that way. America was not built on laziness. America was built on people who are willing to work hard, make commitments to make things happen. And we've gotten into this state of, well, let's see if we can extend this a little bit longer and get a little bit more money to stay home and not do anything at all. I mean, don't get me started. 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. The other big issue right now that's been talked about and argued about, and you hear all kinds of professional people from all sides of the vantage point talk about the vaccine mandates. An ethics professor gave an emotional lesson on vaccine mandates. Then she was placed on leave. Dr. Julie Poniz said, quote, "My school employs me to be an authority on the subject of ethics. I hold a PhD in ethics and ancient philosophy, and I'm here to tell you it's ethically wrong to coerce someone to take a vaccination." They released her. Dr. Julie Peniz, a veteran ethics professor at a university in Canada, was placed on leave after she delivered a very brief virtual lecture in which she outlined the real-life ethical dilemma she faced when her employer mandated her vaccination against COVID-19. The Huron University College educator shared the remarks with her first-year students, explaining to them the universally accepted ethics of coercing people into medical procedures. She goes on to say, and I quote, "My employer has just mandated that I must get a vaccine for COVID-19. Benise explained, quote, "If I want to keep working at my job as a professor, I have to take this vaccine. Here's my conundrum. My school employs me to be an authority on the subject of ethics. I hold a PhD in ethics and an ancient philosophy, and I'm here to tell you it's ethically wrong to coerce someone to take a vaccine," end quote. Then she quotes again, quote, "If this happens to you, you don't have to do it." The professor continued, "If you don't want a COVID vaccine, don't take it." End of discussion. It's your own business, but that's not the approach of the University of Western Ontario, which has suddenly required that I be vaccinated immediately or not report for work. I'm facing imminent dismissal after 20 years on the job because I refuse to be mandated in something that I do not believe in. 60 minutes after 8 o'clock.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford. Gregory's Original.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
And I'm sure you've noticed, as I've noticed, some of my favorite restaurants where I enjoy going to have lunch or evening meal closed because they don't have workers to help man the place. Some of them are closed and doing one shift when they've been normally doing two shifts. They don't do lunch because they don't have the help, or they don't do nights because they don't have help, or they're closing Saturdays and Sundays because they don't have help. And help's out there, but they're drawing more money staying at home, they say, than going to work. And more companies are offering sign-on benefits now, giving a bonus to come back to work, but yet they're staying home and drawing government money out of taxpayer money like yours and mine. So, am I aggravated because people won't go to work? You said that right, buddy. Listen, 19 minutes after 8 o'clock right now. I got to get the sheriff's report on here in just a few moments, but as many private and government employees who choose not to take a COVID-19 vaccine face the possible loss of their jobs, a Physicians Alliance is providing some guidance. How do you explain the spike in deaths in almost fully vaccinated Israel? Employers, particularly those that offer an opportunity for a conversation about the volatile issue, could be posed a number of questions. According to Dr. Jane Orient, Executive Director of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, For one, an employer could be asked to delay the requirement pending availability of the only FDA-approved product labeled Comirnaty. Orient explains that the vaccine approved by the FDA is different than the Pfizer vaccine issued under emergency use authorization. Or better yet, she says, wait until the completion of clinical trials on another one, which is due in 2027. In addition, Orient says employers should consider the data from Israel showing twice as many COVID deaths in 2021 compared to 2020 before the vaccines were available. Israel has one of the highest vaccination rates in the world. Then there's several questions, half a dozen questions for an employer's health expert. Here's some questions to consider for the employers and businesses who are forcing the issue. How do you explain the 100% increase in cases and death in almost fully vaccinated Israel? If there's to be a testing requirement, will it apply to all? President Biden said we need to protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. How will we know whether they have been protected without testing them? There have been reports by unvaccinated persons, especially of menstrual irregularities, after contact with vaccinated persons. Will the company collect reports, offer testing as for coagulation abnormalities, or institute any precautions? Can the company expert provide references to male and female fertility studies in several species of animals? What about pathological examinations of the placenta in women who had a miscarriage post-vaccination? Just a few of the questions still remaining out there about mandating the vaccine, forcing it on you. If you want to take it, folks. 21 minutes after the hour. Hey, there's a place downtown Forest City that I know everybody should be excited about, but ladies particularly. It's called Anchor Down. Anchor Down right there in Forest City, right across the street from Carolina Chiropractic. And they have new arrivals each week, like furniture and jewelry and dishes and clothes, and all name brand clothes. And this is not a consignment store. This is new merchandise. All name brand clothing, 50 cents. Yeah, shoes are $1. All furniture, half off. They got furniture, they got clothes, they got shoes, they got jewelry, and prices have never been slashed like this before. And they're only open Monday through Friday. They're closed on Saturdays and Sundays. So don't wait till Saturday to go do your shopping. Go out there today as soon as you can. It's 155 West Main Street, Forest City. And you'll find something, I know, from various rooms in the store. I know you'll enjoy shopping that. If you like going to stores where you get really good bargains, Anchor Down is the place. They're open 10 a.m. this morning. Open at 10. They close at 5. Right across from Carolina Chiropractor on Main Street, Forest City. If you're going toward Smith Drug, they're on the right, because you can't see them because the building sort of sits back from the other building where the computer store used to be, or Rutherford Weekly's there now. But if you're coming back from downtown, you can see it very easily. But it's right there. Don't go by without stopping in, looking around, browse and tell them I sent you in there, and you want to see what kind of bargains they've got. Alrighty, do that. They close at 5 o'clock and they open at 10 o'clock. Anchor Down is the name of the store. Deputy Friend was on with us earlier this morning from the Sheriff's Department, and we recorded that conversation for broadcast at this time.
So for the past 24 hours, we've had 198 calls, 15 arrests, and currently housing 213 in the jail. As far as reports, we have Justin Silvers reporting damage, vandalism of property at 164 Brook Drive, 2 tires valued $240. We have a Billy Blanton reporting felony larceny of a motor vehicle, Nissan pickup truck. We have Stephanie Garrett reporting breaking and entering larceny felony, 2 drawer filing cabinets. And then for arrest, we have Timothy Burt, 221 South, arrested, failure to appear on felony, obtaining property by false pretenses, $20,000 secured bond. Brandon Connor, 261 Thompson Road, misdemeanor child abuse, resist public officer, $1,000 secured bond. Carly McNeely, 261 Thompson Road, resist a public officer, misdemeanor child abuse, also a $1,000 secure bond. Christopher Fortenberry, 221 South, misdemeanor larceny, $1,000 secure bond. Justin McClellan, 1074 Airport Road, simple possession of marijuana, driving while license revoked, exceeding posted speed, $500 secure bond. Christopher Butler, 191 Spence Street, failure to appear on misdemeanor, $10,000 secure bond. And that'll do it for this morning.
Run prevention and score enough to where we had some breathing room to finish at the end. So that was nice.
Staying 9 games ahead of the Yankees in the AL East were the Tampa Bay Rays, who also became the first AL team to reach 90 wins by beating the Blue Jays 2-0 and ending their losing streak at 2. They've not lost 3 straight since late July. The Dodgers clinched a postseason berth by beating Arizona 8-4. That was their 5th straight win. The Dodgers got home runs by Max Muncy, Trey Turner, and Will Smith. The victory, combined with the losses by Cincinnati and San Diego, secured the Dodgers' 9th consecutive playoff spot in pursuit of their 2nd straight World Series championship. Meanwhile, Cincinnati's 6-5 loss to the Pirates also allows the Cardinals to climb into playoff contention with a wild 7-6 victory over the Mets, a back-and-forth game that took more than 4.5 hours. Meanwhile,
The Bills make me wanna shout.
the Buffalo Bills, a.k.a. the Carolina Panthers North, have joined the Raiders as the only NFL team to require proof of vaccination against COVID-19 for all fans over the age of 12. Unvaccinated fans were allowed to attend the Bills' home opener on Sunday, and they were supposed to wear masks, but many fans said there was little enforcement, so they didn't. And if you saw the game on TV, you saw that next to nobody in the stands was wearing a mask, except for the guy who dresses up like Darth Vader. Erie County officials said the policy shift was a joint decision between the county and team owners. The rules will be the same for the Buffalo Sabres when the NHL season gets underway next month. This is NCN Sports.
I got the vaccine to protect myself.
Because COVID-19 is still spreading.
All the patients I take care of with COVID-19 have one thing in common.
They have not gotten their vaccine.
The vaccines were proven safe and effective in clinical trials with thousands of people.
That's why I tell my friends and family to get theirs.
I'll take feeling achy for a day or two over going to the hospital or dying any day.
Don't wait.
Go to myspot.nc.gov
to get your free COVID vaccine.
Sponsored by NCDHHS.
North Carolina retailers are the backbone of the local economy, and now you hold the power to help them rebound faster by spending your dollars in North Carolina. Our retailers' first priority is the health and safety of their employees and customers. So please be patient with retail employees, especially if they ask you to wear a mask. In most cases, they are required by law. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents these dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop smart and shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
NASCAR will open the 2022 season inside Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in one of the biggest shakeups to its schedule in years. And the annual exhibition Clash has been held at Daytona International Speedway since 1979, but it will shift to LA next year. The invitation-only race was always the kickoff to competitive NASCAR racing and held the week before the season-opening Daytona 500. In 2022, the race will be held February 6th, a week after the Super Bowl and 2 weeks before the Daytona 500. The race will be inside the stadium on a temporary quarter-mile asphalt track. Patrick Cantlay is the Player's Choice as PGA Tour Player of the Year. It's another big step for the 29-year-old from California, the #1 amateur in the world who once shot 60 on the PGA Tour while in college. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Wednesday. Today we'll see a partly cloudy sky. It is going to be a muggier afternoon as tropical moisture continues to increase our dew point temperatures, and that extra moisture will pop up a stray shower storm this afternoon, though most of you will stay dry. Our highs today in the mid to upper 80s. Stray showers this evening and overnight tonight. Drier though for Thursday morning. A few more showers are in the forecast Thursday afternoon with highs in the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Zach. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A great getting up morning here for this Wednesday morning. And we're now at 64 degrees, climbing up the thermometer till 84 for a daytime high, and some humidity affecting us as well. Sunny skies, but beautiful day. Let's get out and enjoy it. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB. Time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is Ray Nino.
Good morning. It's good to be here again with you. My name is Ray Nino, and I'm from Word of Faith. And the other night, my wife and I were talking, and it's interesting. It's like when you're young, you think about all the things that you want to do or are going to do. When you get a little older or a lot older, you think about all the things you have done, and you look back. And looking back in my life, it was a very interesting thing. I got to share with our group at church the other night, and you come to understand as God changes your life, as he begins to minister to you, as he begins to bring you out, you don't recognize that person anymore. You don't know. I said to him, I don't know who that Ray Nino was. I had no knowledge of I didn't know why or how I did the things I did. And, it was just, it's a sadness. You begin to see how sad you allowed your life to travel. And truthfully, in many times, you don't even understand why you did it, in it. But I know I've shared many times before how when I was young, rebellion, that could have easily been listed as my, as they say, my middle name, because I rebelled against everything. And today I'm going to speak about rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And and rebellion is totally unregulated and unrestrained. And that was my life. Totally unregulated and unrestrained. I didn't know you couldn't do anything. I didn't know you weren't supposed to do anything. And I stood against all authority in my life. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. But I stood against my parents. I stood against the law. I stood against I always looked at the law as, those guys. I didn't want those guys. I always felt uncomfortable, around it, and it was because of the rebellion in my life, and I started drinking when I was in junior high school, and then drinking turned to drugs, and before I was 20 years old, I was arrested and in prison 4 different times. It was nothing but rebellion. The first time I was arrested was in breaking and entering. I was just 16 years old, and it wasn't not to steal anything. Actually, it was just to utilize the cabin to have a drinking party in that weekend, thinking we would get away with it and no one would have ever seen us and found us. The second time, I was more like 18 years old. I'd ran away from home and I was living in Florida, and I was driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, crashed my car into parked cars doing 65 miles an hour. They put me in a jail. It was Dade County Jail. Dade County Jail is one of the worst jails in the country. And I was 18 years old. You think things would begin to change. Not long after that, I was in New York City. And, I can say I was peace demonstrating. The truth is, I wasn't peace demonstrating. I was just there. And all of a sudden, I got caught up in the crowd and decided to walk with them. They were going to move and free the students of Columbia. Next thing I knew, I had 4 policemen surrounding me, throwing me in a paddy wagon, and I ended up in the Tombs. Again, one of the bad jails in America. I finally went to Vietnam, and when I was in Vietnam, I worked on the flight line, and I got to know several of the pilots, and because they flew certain regular routes. And one time the pilot asked me, he says, you want to go with us to the beach? It's like, you begin to understand you're totally unregulated and unrestrained. Because I'm in a war zone. You don't just hop down to the beach. I didn't have any clue. I didn't, sin, as it says, was definitely witchcraft. It had just totally, I had no reasoning in my mind. So I jumped in, and in the plane, we flew to Fung Tao, which was a resort. And I was there, and when I was there, I got arrested. And I had no pass. I was not legally there. And the next thing I know, they flew me back to my base, and They court-martialed me and took all my rank. You know, it was such a sad life, you know, and like I said, I don't recognize that guy. I don't recognize the guy that did all those things because he was truly unregulated and unrestrained, had no decency about himself. I mean, I probably could fill, I don't know how many radio programs and just go through and tell you all the sad things, you know, about who this Rainino back there was, you know. But I want to explain some things to you because it's very important. Rebellion is doing what you want and when you want, and when you do that, you release so much controlling witchcraft, confusion. As I go on, I'm going to explain what that is and why I'm saying that. But it's important to understand that. You know, all that things you're doing, all that rebellion, you know, and why it's saying it is as a sin of witchcraft. It just releases so much confusion around you, you know, and people, you know, it becomes a cloud. And the next thing you know, you're pulling people in here and there, and you're all doing things wrong. You know, one of the last things I'll tell you is one of the things we used to do for fun. We all get in the car and drive over to the rich part of town and pull up all their mailboxes. What about that is fun? It's nothing but witchcraft. You're just caught up in the moment. You know, it's a frenzy. You know, let's go do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. And that's what's happening out there right now in people's lives. They get caught up in frenzies. And the rebellion is as witchcraft. It's confusing, brings confusion, brings division. In John, 1 John 3:4, it says, everyone who commits and practices sin is guilty of lawlessness. And that was definitely lawlessness in my life. For that is what sin is. Lawlessness, the breaking and violating of God's law by transgression or neglect, being unrestrained, unregulated by God's command and his will. You know, God puts, you know, he puts his word out there for us. We read his word. We learn who he is. You know, he has a will for our lives. But when we're unregulated, unrestrained, we fall into lawlessness. And we stand against God. And we do the very opposite, you know, of what we should be doing. In Samuel 15, it says it here. Here's the verse that is the key verse. And I did it in King James because I felt like it was clear. And he said, and Samuel said, has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? You know, does he delight more in as much in burnt offerings as he does in obeying the Lord? And he says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken or hear than the fat of the lambs. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and has also rejected thee from being king. Because he's talking about Saul here. Because, you know, I mean, in chapter 15, it says, Samuel told Saul, the Lord, send me, you know, he said, the Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people of Israel. Now listen and heed the words of the Lord. That's what was the important part. He's going to be king. And being king, he needs to hear what God is saying. But in our lives, it's the same. As we really draw to him, we need to hear what he's saying. You know, we don't need to be in rebellion, unrestrained, unregulated. We don't need to be doing what we want to do when we want to do it. We need to be doing what God said through his word, because he's directing us. He's bringing us down a path, you know, and that path, the end of that path obviously is eternal life, you know, but also it's a peaceful life as we walk it. It isn't one full of confusion, full of separation, full of all these things. It's one of peace. Peace in the midst of storms that are happening all around us. That's why we obey his word. We obey his word to walk in that way and not be caught up in the witchcraft of the moment. So in Samuel 15 again, it says, and Samuel says, hath the Lord, I read that one, but he says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. The witchcraft, you can think of it in many different ways. And a lot of times sadly, because of all the movies and all the different things and TV that's out there, we envision witchcraft as this dark, mystical thing, and it is, so don't misunderstand me. Or we think of witches that have skills to do potions, to cast spells, and all those types of things. But we don't see the other side of it. We don't understand that our sin is as witchcraft as well. You can be caught up with your own control and your self-will, giving yourself to, you remember when you were a child and your parents said, you can't do that. And then up out of you comes this, either a scream or this yelling, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I want. In the midst of all that just starts creating confusion. It starts, it's like, it's not peaceful. It's not God's peace. And it says, those that are there, they try to use the word of God to control others as weapons against even family members, trying to control and manipulate them to do what they want you to do, trying to convince them. That's witchcraft. Witches and all those guys, they create spells and all this to get you to do certain things. Well, our attitude, our self-will, our lack of submission to God and choosing to do something totally different and trying to force others into doing that, that's witchcraft as well. And that witchcraft releases so much confusion. And it makes the people around them, it makes them feel suffocated, walking under this constant pressure and heaviness that's trying to destroy them. That's what it does. I don't know. I look back and I think, my poor parents. I mean, so many times, they'd be, the police would show up at the house or this, and I mean, they're sitting on the porch having a nice peaceful evening, and Ray's witchcraft over here, and the police show up looking for me, and they're like, what did he do now? What is that? It just releases this confusion. It steals the peace of the moment. It steals it. I've got some examples. That obviously was an example, but I have an example that really, set a marker in my life, that I remember. Obviously, I did this all the time, but that day, it really is witchcraft. And my wife and I were at a mall, and it was quite busy. There was cars going in and out. There was all these, things going on. I knew where I wanted to go and how I wanted to get there. But my wife was driving, and so we came up to a point where she had to turn right or left. Well, she turned right, but I had wanted her to turn left. I hadn't communicated that to her, but at that moment in time, I did communicate it to her, but I communicated it to her in a real loud type manner and a real forceful type manner, and truthfully, it just released all kind of witchcraft. We could have had a wreck. She didn't know, well, am I going right? Am I going left? Where am I going? Well, how do I know what to do? That's what I'm talking about in the controlling and the witchcraft. There was another example. When I was in the music business, I had a group, and they were very close friends. In fact, one of the group members was, in our wedding, my wife and I's wedding. But I managed that group for many years. And one day they gave me a gift. They gave me a gift, a large cooking apron. And written across the top of that apron was the Colonel. That's what they used to call me. They used to call me the Colonel. Why'd they call me the Colonel? They thought I was a lot like Elvis's manager who did nothing but control Elvis. You know, and we all thought that was funny. You know, it was like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. The group broke up. And after the group broke up, the man that was in our wedding, I didn't see him or talk to him for several years. You know, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't. You know, and then all of a sudden, I did get a call from him. And I asked him, I said, why have you not been in touch? He became a pastor of a local church. And he said to me, he said, because I thought you would try to convince me to come back into the music business again, and I didn't want to do it. That's the control. That's what I'm talking about here. When your self-will is what you want to do. And God has a plan for others, for him. He had a plan for him to become a minister. I mean, the sad thing is I probably would have tried to talk him back into coming into the music business. But he escaped. He escaped the very thing. That became a very major landmark again in my life. You know, I want to talk about Saul here. You know, we read about the witchcraft, but I want to, you know, Saul, like I said, was told to listen to the words of God. He put him in as king. He wanted him to listen to the words of God. It's no different than us. God puts us on that path. He wants us to listen to the word of God. He doesn't want us to do what we want to do when we want to do it. In Samuel 15:3 said, you know, this is God saying, you know, to Saul, he says, go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. You know, it says here in verse 8, it says, and he took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive. I mean, this verse says very clearly, destroy all. And then it says, you know, Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep, the oxen, the fatlings, the lambs, and all that was good. It's totally disobedient to God. He didn't hear what God said. He was in sin. He was unregulated and unrestrained, even though God gave him a major position. Because this is important. He gave him that position. Why? Because he thought he would follow him. You know, and yet what happened? Because he says in it goes on, and he says, Saul said to Samuel in 15:24, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and your words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. That's the witchcraft. You know, you start to obey other things other than God because you feel those pressures and you feel those things. That's the witchcraft. It's clear to just feel and understand what God is saying. It's his word that's leading us, not the people. Now he says, now I pray you pardon my sin and go back with me that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said to Saul, I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of God. Rejected the word of God. And the Lord has rejected you from being king over Israel. We reject the word of God. He rejects us. I mean, the word of God is there. It's there for a purpose. It's there to lead us. And as Samuel turned to go away, Saul, in his self-will again, seized the skirt of Samuel's mantle, and it tore. And Samuel said to him, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you this day, and has given it to a neighbor of yours who is better than you. God will deal with you. He'll take away the very things, that you have built and have cherished and thought they were great because you've rejected the word of God. Because it was never part of his plan that way. He told them very specifically, kill all, everything. Yet then you read, it says, yet he took the king alive. And yet he took the best, sheep. He took the best fatlings. He took the best lambs. God, to obey is better than sacrifice. You just got to constantly remember that. Working hard rather than obeying God is not what he wants you to do. You sit there, I know in my life, again, this was a part of my life, a time in my life when, I would work and I would go to work and I would work all long hours and all that. And, I'd probably find excuses not to be at church on different periods of time, or not to be home with the family and whatever. That wasn't God's plan, So I was no different than Saul. I had been put in a position that God had given me as the head of the family. And yet what I was doing was rejecting the word of the Lord, choosing to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I'm grateful that it didn't take everything, because it could have taken it all. But God led me and kept bringing me to that point. I want to read, because it could be to this point. In Matthew 7:21-23 says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Again, it's the word of the Lord. It's what he tells us. It's the path he shows us. He says, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, have we not? That's a key thing there. It's not what we have done, not have we not. It's did we do the will of God. That's what's going to bring us into that place of heaven, not what we choose to do. It says, it's not have we not prophesied in your name, driven the demons in your name out, done mighty works in your name. That's not it. And then he said to them openly and publicly, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who act wickedly, disregarding my commandments. Who act wickedly, disregarding my commandments. You think you're doing all the right things because you're doing what you want to do. You're interpreting God's word in the way you want to interpret it for your benefit and doing what you think you want to do. And he's saying, you act wickedly, disregarding my commandments. Just like Saul. He thought he was doing great. He won the battle. He took them all, he took them captive. That's not what God told him to do. He didn't tell him to do that. He said, kill them all. There's always a reason why God says what he says. And he leads us into what we need to do. Because he sees the beginning and the end. And so when he's telling us to do this here, he knows the effect it will have here. So we need to not act wickedly, disregarding his commandments. Again, because it's better to obey than sacrifice. It's interesting. Some people, you think you're doing so good. You feel like, oh, I'm working so hard. I'm doing all these things for God. I'm out doing this. I'm out doing that. But yet you're neglecting what the Word of God told you to do in the other areas. That's when he's talking about it's better to obey than the sacrifice. All that extra work, extra labor, extra all these things, all that things that you perceive as sacrifice, that's wickedly disregarding his commandments. It's better to obey than to sacrifice. It's just, that's the way it is. I know that in the end here, I read these verses in the class the other day, and going back to where I started all this today is understanding that I don't really know who that Ray Nino is that was back there. I don't know why he did what he did. I don't understand. It's like so foreign to me. I just can't grasp any of it. And I look back and it saddens. But in 2 Corinthians, because this, if you can grab a hold and understand where God wants to take you and where he wants to bring you to, he wants to bring you to humility. He wants to bring you to a point when it's no longer what you want to do and when you want to do it. It's submission to him. It's submission to his word. All that we talked about here was those that they didn't submit to God's word. They did wickedly. They did wickedly against his commandments. I try to hear the word of God in my life now. I try to do what he wants me to do. I don't always get it right, but I'm quick to repent when I don't. I know for my own life, I don't live in that control every day now. I don't strive to do all these things and become all these things. I strive to do what God said. I go to work. He gave me a job. At first, I didn't even know why I was supposed to go to this job. But I go there every day now. And I work for somebody else. I've worked mostly for myself all my life. But I work for someone else. And I'm not striving in there to be the charge of the place or to do this. I'm just simply doing the word of God. I'm doing what he told me to do. I'm every day I go there to try to help that company become what it's supposed to come in the sight of God. I try to share Jesus with everybody that I'm working with. But in 2 Corinthians 5:14, he says, "For the love of Christ controls and urges and impels us." That's the key. That's what's pushing us. It's not our control. It's not what we want to do. It's the love of Christ. Because we are of the opinion and conviction that if one died for all, then all die. Ray Nino died and needs to continue to die. Why? Because Christ died for us. He died for us so that the sin is broken in our lives. So Ray Nino died because Christ died. He said he died for all so that those who live might no longer do to themselves. He doesn't want us doing what we want to do, but to and for him who died and was raised again. We're not living for ourselves. We're living for Jesus. He paid a price for our lives. Because he paid that price, we're living for him. He says, consequently, from now on, we estimate and regard no one from a human point of view or natural standards, not even though we once did estimate Christ from a human view. We always looked at God from all the stories, Jesus from all the stories. I don't look at him as that. I see him as a God in my life. I see him, as my heavenly Father. And I'm going to read this verse last because this is the important statement. He says, therefore, in all that, if any person is engrafted into Christ, the Messiah, he's a new creature altogether. The old previous moral and spiritual condition has passed away. Behold, the fresh and new has come. And that's what's true in my life. The new and fresh has come. And it keeps coming daily, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you for being here today. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30, or you can go see us, in all my other...
The majority of voters choosing not to recall it.